Hi, I am here today with one of our wonderful teachers. All of our teachers are wonderful, but I love talking with Traci Lowy. I hope I said that right. Oh, shoot. I should have asked. So Traci Lowy is one of our teachers, and she teaches our middle school, but she also has a passion for third graders and fourth graders as well. So welcome, Traci. So glad
Thank
to have
you.
you.
I'm
So
happy to be here.
awesome. So Traci is, I don't know, just tell me more about yourself and how you got into teaching math and tutoring math.
Sure. So I taught elementary school for 10 years and I taught third, fourth, and sixth grade. And then I had my daughter and now I have a son as well. And so once they were born, I decided I wanted to stay home with them for a while. And that really led me to think about doing virtual math tutoring because it fits great with my lifestyle right now. And math is my favorite subject to teach. And so that's kind of how I got into that. And I love it. And it just really gives me joy to help kids with math.
That's awesome. So great to hear that. Is there a particular subject in math, like a topic that you really enjoy teaching?
I really like fractions because
Okay.
I feel like that is a topic where you can really, I don't know, use a lot of practice to get like a deeper understanding. And I think it's so useful when you get into the higher grades, even into like pre-algebra and algebra as well. So important. So
Yes,
yeah.
I'm so glad you said fractions. That was like the one top of my head. I hear so many people talking about fractions and how they either their kids are frustrated with fractions or they want to know better techniques. Do you have like a small tip you can give to, people watching about what they can do with fractions? Something that you might do?
Yeah, I use a lot of word problems. And I also, with fractions, like to start, even you can do this with kindergartners, equal sharing problems. So a
Ah,
problem like I have 5 sandwiches and I want to share it with 3 friends, and how equally, and how many sandwiches are each friend going to get. And so you're starting with whole numbers, but the answer is going to have a fraction. And then even young kids can draw that out and partition the sandwiches up and figure out that answer. Even like a young kid, they might not understand how to represent it, but they can understand, oh, they get one whole sandwich and then part of another sandwich. So
no, that's a
yeah.
great idea. I mean, like when you think 5 and 3, like it's just like it doesn't work, right? That's like the first instinct. What are you gonna do when you have 5 whole sandwiches? Like it's not fair, mom, right?
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
It's right. So they have to think of a solution, and fairness is really important among kids. Like can't get
Totally.
right what the one kid can't get more than the other. So I always talk about like, hey, if you got more and you gave your little brother more, what are they gonna say? I mean, the other
Yeah.
way around. Yeah. So no, that's great. I love talking about food as well. So no, I love that. I love it. And you also have some favorite like hobbies. You love to play the piano and dance.
Yes, which also I think are very like math related hobbies as well, because of like the rhythm,
Yeah.
um, and like music and time signatures. So yeah, and I've been playing piano since I was in fourth grade,
Okay.
and I don't get to play as often anymore, but I wish I could. And then dancing, I also started dancing when I was a kid, and now I do like cardio dance classes for exercise, which are so much fun. And then besides that, I mostly hang out with my 2 little kids.
Well, this is so cool that you're saying that because I actually did dancing too.
Oh
And
yeah.
I started when I was like 4, and my parents still have those videos, the little, the little ballet shoes. And you're like
So
walking
cute.
around. I know they're awesome. VHS tapes. You could have great memories. And then I played piano too. So I've been actually wanting to get back. We have a keyboard, and I haven't. It's just been sitting there and been eyeing, and I'm like, okay, we need to get back into it. So I'm encouraged just by talking to you as well. I love dancing. I
Yeah.
haven't done it for a while, and I love I love playing the piano as well.
Oh, and we both love math.
And we love math. Yes. And it's so true. It's so true. Like how you mentioned, one of the things when my parents had put me in a music theory class and we had to, talk about like the 3/4 or the measures or, just all the vocabulary. And I could see like time and the rhythm and that first beat being so much stronger than all the other ones. It was those fractions, right? And then the dancing too. Like you were listening to the teacher recount at like 5, 6, 7, 8. And we'd have to do it to the rhythm. So yeah, I feel like the music and the mathematics is wonderful. And my secret was always like, let's listen to classical music while you do your homework. So the music the rhythm is in your head. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. So, hey, something I didn't know. So great to have these conversations. Um, so speaking of, kids, what is one of like those aha moments? You mentioned that you really love, helping children achieve aha moments. Is there a particular memory that kind of sticks out in your mind of when you've helped a student and something maybe they
Mm.
didn't know before or something that was just really special?
I think it was, well, when I was teaching in the classroom, and we had a giant, like 70-inch screen TV that I could project my iPad onto. And although it's not specific memory because it happens so often, but I would have an iPad and I would let kids explain their strategy, how they solve the problem. And so they would have the iPad and they would be explaining it and writing it, and it would show up on the big TV. And like you would hear these quiet little murmurs like, oh, oh. And for them to be getting that from another student and not just me, I felt like is so much more meaningful. And like, I feel like kids can actually sometimes better understand each other because they know how kids think, and it's different than how we think as adults. So, yeah, those were definitely lots of aha moments in the classroom there.
Oh, so much fun. And by the way, Traci is like a tech guru. Like I have so much to learn from her. She's talking about iPad and projecting. I'm like, I've never done that, but she's so good. The audience out there, she is absolutely amazing. So I'm gonna have to hook her in to give me more tips and tricks. Um, awesome. And then the other thing is you like to help students. You mentioned helping students like focusing on what individual needs are. Can you explain like what that means, like helping students at their own pace and what makes sense
Definitely.
to like them as an individual?
Yeah. I think kids really want to focus on their own personal growth and not comparing themselves to their peers. And every individual is at a different level. And I don't think it doesn't matter where they're at. We can always work at anyone's level. And so if I do work with a student, I always assess to see where they are to start. And then I want my students to have that growth mindset where they can see, oh, I didn't know this 2 weeks ago, and now I know it, and to feel good about themselves with that. It doesn't have to be, oh, I have to be on grade level or I have to be ahead of grade level there. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure, right? It's a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
pressure when you're comparing yourself to other students. I know in the classroom, like there were times where I felt like, oh, I'm not as good as somebody else because they could already solve the problem, or like, I need to get better at it. But like, there's a difference between feeling like you can get better and feeling like hopeless, right? I think what
Yeah.
you're doing is you're encouraging them that where they're at, they can grow and then they can feel really good about themselves. They'll have to compare themselves to anybody else.
Right. And sometimes it helps too if you like compare it to a sport they play or something, because they understand like they're not pros yet and they had to start at the beginning of that sport as well. Like I can't do a push-up, but maybe I want to set a goal to work really hard, and I would be so proud of myself if I could do one push-up. Well, there's most people in the world can do that, but like I could just focus on my individual needs. And so helping them understand through other topics as well.
I love that. Yeah, I always like to, it reminds me, I'd like to talk about what they're good at because kids are amazing, right? Like some of them are like blow me away, like Minecraft or Roblox or like all the stuff they talk about, like, oh, you're really good at that. Like, can you teach me something about that? Right? Because I've got a lot to learn. And then I also like how you said the word yet. That's such a powerful word. Like, we're not there yet, but there yet tells them that there's that possibility. So it's
Yeah.
so cool that you're like you're already using that phrasing that I absolutely love. And that it's so important to empower our kids not to feel like they can't do it. I think that's one of the things about math is, personally, I don't want any kid to feel like they can't do it. I want them to feel like they can. So that's super cool. And anything else that you could think of that you want to share um, about, I guess, I don't know, what would be uh, what would be some kind of, I know, still learning. What would be like some kind of a dream that you would like to achieve? I don't know, it's coming up left field
I don't
here.
know. I'd love to help parents understand like why there is this new way of math that seems
Mm,
so daunting. Um, when we were growing up, we were all just like, this is how you solve the problem, that's how you do it. And that's just not the way that kids think about math and learn it. And so that's a good way to memorize how to do something, but it's not true math understanding. And so I'd love to help parents understand that and get that into kids' minds as well. So they're not just like, give me the quick fix, how do I solve it? I'm like, no, you can figure it out. I'll give you the tools and help guide you through it. But here's a problem. And now see what you can do with it.
that's wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. In fact, I don't know if a lot of people realize it, but people who are professional mathematicians, like do it for a living, they may take 2 to 4 years to solve a problem.
Wow.
And there was I'll have to look the name again, but there was a time where a group of mathematicians had solved a problem, but one of the mathematicians was like, well, we could do it better. Why do we wait? And it took 2 more years. And when they completed the problem 2 more years later, it was like, they said it was like the best work they had ever done. Like
Wow.
nothing they've done is compared to it. Yeah. So math, right, in its purest sense, does take time. And it does take time to understand and develop. And I think what you're doing is you're definitely helping students to be able to see that and understand that. I know not all elementary school students should take 2 years to solve a problem. It seems a little bit different type of problem, but like they're giving them room, right? You're giving them room to think about it, grow. That's amazing. And to tell parents that, like, what is this new math that parents are getting worried about? Could you tell me a little bit more
Oh,
about that?
well, the Common Core math, it's been around for a while now. But not just here's how you solve this problem. Follow like multiplying 2-digit by 2-digit numbers. We're not just going to follow that standard algorithm because that doesn't make sense to kids. It's like, I don't know why I'm doing this. I can get the answer, but I don't understand it. So let's like break down those numbers and figure out other strategies, how we can solve this problem and truly understand what are we actually doing.
I love it. So it's the behind the scenes. It's not just getting it done, which is what you were saying earlier, but I didn't catch it. So, but
Yeah.
knowing more of the why and probably that more than just do it, more than just how. So
Yeah.
that's a really big deal. And I know that having taught high school level, that if you don't really understand the why and you just do the how, you get mixed up. You're not really figuring things out. So yeah, if you could tell parents that, I think you are now, you're telling parents that, hey, it's going to be okay, right? It's going to be okay for students to be able to take more time and learn things and understand them. And that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
I think we could definitely help kids that way. All right, awesome. So, I guess any last thoughts? Anything that, you've just mentioned so many wonderful things like the aha moments about growth mindset, um, about this like new math that definitely stresses a lot of people out because it does take more time or it's not the quick way. Um, is there anything else that you would love to share from your teaching
Mm.
experience?
Um, I think just if your child hates math, don't give up on that. It probably means they're having a hard time. Maybe it's too hard, maybe it's too easy. And they might just like not understand what they're doing. And if given an opportunity to problem solve on their own and really create meaning for themselves, it could really help change that mindset, and they might start to like math a little bit more.
I love it. I would like want to put like hearts all over that, the emojis. So good, Traci. That's amazing. This is why I love my teachers. You guys are so wonderful. Traci, everything you said is so on point. It's so meaningful. It's so valuable. It's really life-changing. And I know because I've been there. I've been in that place where, I was fearful of math and I didn't like it because I was so frustrated. And hearing you and how you can bring about that confidence in our students and help them, show them the way that they can do it and then they can be empowered.
Yeah.
I'm just overjoyed. So thank you so much for joining me for this conversation.
You're welcome.